Afternoon. It must be noon on Thursday. And if it is, this is Coffee with Ralph. Welcome to my conference room. Hey, I've decided that I'm going to do the live podcast from the comfort of my conference room. But remember, each episode is available later on YouTube. Also, Coffee with Ralph is a free 15-minute call with me to discuss whatever question pops into your mind, whether it's about this broadcast or retirement in general. You know, last week I spoke about a compelling future in retirement. And what I've come to realize is that most boomers, me included, really have no idea what that means for each one of us. So before we can help you plan for that retirement, we'll need to discover what it looks like to you. There seems to be a word that comes up almost every time I sit down in a planning session for retirement. And it comes from men, the word structure. You know, we seem to be pretty structured creatures, we men. That's from the beginning of time, we've been structured. You know, we get up, we eat breakfast, we go out, we go to work, we work all day, we come home, we play with the kids, we chase the kids, or we plan for vacations, or we go fishing, or we work around the house. But that's why we're working. That's when we're working, excuse me. Got a few notes here, so bear with me. But when it's time to retire, what does that look like? We no longer have to get up, go out, stab it, kill it, drag it home to clean it, and eat it. You know, it all changes. All of a sudden, we're men of leisure. And most of us don't understand what that word means. So we need to discuss it and be frank and open about it. But here's where we really have to get down to it. Here's the elephant in the room. What structure is there in a compelling retirement? What kind of compelling future has a structure? Then there's the question of why. Why do I need a structure in retirement? Am I not retired? Can't I just take it easy? Why is structure so important to men? I think being a man, I know that comes as a surprise to some of you, but I am male. I think I'm qualified to answer, not because of my profession, but because of my gender. That seems odd that I say that. You know, even our relaxation is structured. Come on. We go golf 18 holes. That's 4.5 hours or 5 hours. Or maybe it's the whole day, but we plan it. And then we talk about fishing. Well, my goodness, we got to get out there before the sun comes up so we can catch them coming out right away. And yeah, there's hunting season. And that starts in October or September for some of us. And it runs through December. And then we try to figure out what we're going to do in January. Oh, yeah, there's ice fishing if we have ice. Yep, and then there's the camping thing. My goodness gracious, we got to get out there Thursday afternoon so we can get checked in, get set up, so enjoy the weekend, so we can tear down and run back home on Monday so we can begin everything, the structure every day. And you know, those few days when we're camping, that thing called structure goes out the window. And for most of us, we get a little batty. We lose our minds a little bit. But that's during the work years. What about after? After all, men's been doing this since the beginning of time. And I don't know that retirement is ever a thing that I've really read about in the Bible or anywhere else. This is a new and modern thing. Retire. What does that mean? For some of us, to stop being productive in a work environment means that we've lost value. Isn't that, after all, isn't that who we are? We're providers. You know, I think the Bible speaks pretty clearly things. And I don't see retirement in there, but I do see about changing responsibilities. It's not about changing structure, it's about changing the responsibilities. You know, after all, Moses got old and he handed things off there, and Aaron got old and he handed things off to, who knows? I can't remember now, but the reins are handed off to a younger person that has more energy than we have as we get older, more strength. My goodness, I'm not as strong as I was in my 20s, 30s, or even 40s. So the heavy lifting is for the young. But listen, we've been on this earth for a long time and we're wiser than they are. Doesn't mean knowledge, it means wisdom. And when it comes time to quit doing the heavy lifting, it's our job to begin talking about wisdom, to hand that down to the next generation and a generation following them, to become the resource the younger people have available to them. I remember my neighbor, Mr. Claypool, when I was a young whippersnapper. That was a couple years ago now. I know it might surprise you too. And he's a wise old cuss. He was somebody that I could look up to get answers that I couldn't get from my dad. Tough questions about life. Sometimes too tough to ask dad about. But Mr. Claypool had the wisdom of ages. He seemed to be wise. And the only reason I can tell you that I thought he was wise is because he was older than I was. He had gray hair. Goodness, that made him wise, I guess. At least that's what I thought. And believe it or not, I'm pretty sure he was pretty wise. So let's talk about what that compelling future looks like. I think it comes to changes become a time when we hand off our wisdom. That's retirement. We hand off our wisdom that we've gained all through the years. I mean, goodness, at 20, I didn't think I needed anybody's wisdom. I thought I had it all handled. But now, as I'm older, I actually look to older folks, older than I am, to give me information, to hand down their wisdom to me. I think our job becomes something different. I think our job becomes answering those questions that they can't get off the internet. I mean, after all, kids today think that all the wisdom in the world is on the internet. I mean, they look at us and, hey, what do you know? You didn't have computers when you grew up. Well, the first computer I dealt with was in high school. That was 1970s, late mid 70s. And it was at Michigan State University. We programmed it with cards and it had 10 megabytes of storage. Oh gosh, that seemed like just a ton. Now we're talking about terabytes. We have more power in our cell phones than we had in computers for years and years and years. So these kids think that everything in the world, all the wisdom in the world, is on the internet. Unfortunately, they're wrong. 85% of all knowledge is now on the internet, but there's no way to put wisdom on the internet. Wisdom has to do with the direct interaction from one day to the next, one situation to the next. The wisest man I knew wasn't educated. He didn't have a college education, but he had years and years and years and years on this earth. And so he had lots of life experience. And that life experience cannot be put on the internet. So the compelling future to that interesting conversation, I think, about having a daily structure, a daily to-do list, you got to have one. And I think maybe now it's time we figure out how to record our wisdom so we can hand it off. I know from the experience I've had with many, many clients that if we decide we're going to take it easy and sit around, we don't last very long. But if we keep moving, we keep our mind sharp, we keep physically active, we live a long time. and our life can have purpose. It's what I come back to is this: we have to know what your compelling future looks like. What you have to understand moving in retirement or even coming close, say the last 5 or 10 years of your working years, you have to understand and realize that doesn't mean the world's done with us. At that point in time, it simply means we're done beating up our bodies and our minds. It's time to enjoy life. Yeah, but I hope you've been enjoying life all of your life, not just when you go into retirement. I know we've had our bumps and bruises. I mean, that's life, isn't it? You have bumps and bruises, you have ups and downs, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. Here's where I've got to stop this. This is where I've got to land the plane and tell you that Coffee with Ralph is a free 15-minute call. Yeah, I understand a lot. Yes, I'm approaching that time, probably the next decade, where I'll have to step back to probably more during the next decade than waiting 10 years out. I want to hand off what I do and hand off my wisdom about what I do while I still have a lot of energy left and a lot of wisdom I can hand off. There's no agenda in these phone calls that I've offered. If you want to talk to me about a problem in retirement or something about long-term care or income streams or whatever your question is, just bring it. I guarantee it's just simple education. It is critical that we get this thing figured out so we can move in retirement knowing full well the world's going to continue without us. Everything marches forward. Time marches forward, doesn't it? But what we do in that time when we're marching on and how we do it and have fun bringing your questions to a way that, or bringing their questions, to you in a way that you can hand off wisdom. I think we need to talk about recording our wisdom too somehow. Hey, listen, I know I rambled a bit today. It's just something I've been continually thinking about, and that's that question: why? Why is structure so important in retirement? Why is handing off our wisdom so important to the next generations? Why do I have to retire? Why do I have to have fun? There's so many why questions out there that I've just been spending my time thinking about that question: why? So listen, this has been Coffee with Ralph. Thanks for being here. Have a blessed day.